This video is brought to you by Sporlan, quality, integrity, and tradition. Well, it's Saturday, October 5th. We got a service call on the walk-in freezer not working at this location. Put a compressor in this about 3 months ago. They called a little frustrated saying it's not working, and I get here and the evaporator's all iced up. So they probably left the door open, who knows. But can't really do anything until the evaporator's defrosted. So I currently have them moving some food around because they had a bunch of stuff in that freezer. Let's look over here too. Condenser, if I remember right, this is the freezer condenser. It's either this or this one, and they're pretty dirty, so that's another thing. I was worried if it was off on high pressure because it was really hot today. We still, in October, are having crazy heat waves, so it was well over 100 today. And I was thinking maybe it was going to be a high pressure situation. Don't know if that's the case or not. All I know is the coil's partially frosted up. It's iced up all the way to the compressor. My walk-in freezer is system B right here. So let's see, the time is pretty accurate. It's about an hour off, that's not bad. Let's try to put it into defrost and see if it stays in defrost. And let's see if it actually goes. Because I'll let the electric defrost do its magic for a few minutes if that's the case. I'm gonna get my meter out and we're gonna check it with the meter. All right, it is staying in defrost according to the defrost clock. So we're gonna check between 3 and N. And we have 208 volts going to the defrost circuit. Let's check the number 4 wire to N. Make sure we don't have any power going to 4, we don't. So on this defrost clock right here, you have N and 1 are powering the clock. 2 is the common leg for 3 or 4, and it's working correctly. So in defrost, you should have power between N and 3. You should not have power between 4 and N. 4 and N is your refrigeration circuit, 3 and N is your defrost circuit. So we are in defrost and we're defrosting right now. So all is well with that. We're gonna let that run, and I'm gonna go get my hoses and everything ready so we can get this coil defrosted. When I'm ready to actually defrost it, we'll shut this down and go from there. If you look in there, you can see it's all iced up. If I take you around the back, you can see all in the back. They've got a nice, good, thick chunk of ice up on the top. There's a bunch inside here. This whole thing is a mess. It still has power. So I'm just gonna check to make sure all the defrost heaters are working. Once I've ensured they're all working, then we'll shut off the power and get the water hose on. I verified all the heaters are working, so that's good. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and kill power. And we're gonna go ahead and take all those excessive defrosts out. Looks like I gotta check these defrosts because I feel like something's not right about the amount of defrost they have here. But regardless, let's go downstairs and get it all defrosted. I gotta pull the whole evap apart, pull the motors out, get it all defrosted. All right, so use my spray nozzle here. This is just one that I got from the hardware store, Lowe's to be exact. Got warm water, and we're just carefully defrosting, trying not to get it in the motors, trying not to get it on the box. So we want to make sure the water goes all the way through, gets all the ice. It's pretty thick up there, so they had something going on here. I don't know what. I don't know if it was a door being left open or if the limit switch is bad. It's hard to say. But see how we're kind of dripping? We need to stop because it's dripping down into the motor. I might have to pull that motor out. When it comes to the freezers, we cannot be getting water on the floor. Causes so many problems. So got to go very, very slow. And if you see the slightest bit, you got to slow down. Watch the drain as it's filling up because we're obviously going to put more water than the drain can handle in this thing. So we just got to go nice and slow, making sure all the ice is off. And I usually do most of the work from the front of the coil instead of having to get behind. So it'll all fall off the back here in just a minute. The steam will make it release. So just kind of wedge that motor up there like that. All right, we're back together. This blade, the set screws stripped out. I was able to get it tightened on, but it doesn't tighten on super tight. Then I have a brand new, I just bought this brand new guy right here, and it just spins in it. Oh, now it's kind of grabbing, but still, we're gonna return. I pushed up hard and like got it to turn a little bit tighter, but we're gonna return and replace this blade because the next guy tries to get it off and that's gonna be a problem. So we're gonna get the guards put back on, get this guy turned back on. It's all defrosted. So, and I had a couple pans in here to kind of catch some of the residual water that was falling out. Don't know if it's gonna show up in here, but that fan bracket is cracked. I noticed it when I was putting this one in, and this one's cracked right there. So I think they'll be okay for the weekend or for the rest of the weekend. But yeah, we're gonna get new blades and new brackets. Something's a little cattywampus because those brackets, sometimes they do break, but usually it's like bent blades that causes them to break, like vibration and stuff. So who knows, but we'll see. All right, it is about 29 degrees in the box. Pretty accurate to the thermostat too, saying 28. The coil is cooling. There's a slight bit of frost on the back of it. Just a slight bit. That's pretty typical. I'm gonna watch this thing come down in temp a little bit. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time as long as I see a significant temperature drop. It's gonna take a long time because the product in here is pretty thawed out. So, I mean, I'm not gonna be able to sit here and watch this whole thing come down to temp. Plus, we have to come back for fan brackets and everything. So I'm just gonna make sure everything's good, jump on the roof, make sure we have a clear sight glass, make sure I see at least probably a 10-degree temp drop, maybe down to 18 degrees, and then I'll feel pretty comfortable. All right, while I'm waiting for this thing to come down to temp, I'm gonna rinse off the condenser just without chemical, just water really quick because it's a little dusty. There's a bunch of leaves on it. I can see a bunch of dirt. We've had the fires out here. Look at all the mud coming out of that. It's always a possibility this thing was going off on high pressure too. So I'm just gonna do this real quick, just rinse off the whole rack and then go down and check on the temps. Last I checked, it was at 25 degrees. So this is that ridiculously dumb rack. But you can see we have a clear sight glass, compressors running, so I'm gonna let it run for a bit longer and let's go check on the temp downstairs. Currently about 12 degrees. Obviously this thing's kind of vibrating. That's those brackets that are busted. We'll get those taken care of. I don't know what caused this to ice up, you know? It's hard to say. But I'm not gonna spend too much more time here tonight. We're gonna be coming back for the brackets. We'll follow up hopefully Monday morning. And also this drain is a little bit slow, so I'm gonna bring some other technicians out with me. They're connected to the other walk-in, so it's a two-person job to blow out these drains, and I wanna get these things all cleared up too. So that's gonna be it for tonight. Should be down to temp in a couple hours, and we'll follow up next week. All right, I am back. Brought a couple other guys with me because this drain was kind of draining a little bit slow, so it's connected to another walk-in, so we're gonna get it all blown out. But you can see there's a little bit of something in there. We'll make sure that heater's working too. But also got some new fan blades and fan brackets, so we're gonna get changing those and then waiting for the go-ahead to blow this out. They gotta go block off all the other drains because there's 2 evaporator coils in the walk-in cooler and they're all interconnected. So all right, got the fan blades installed, brackets installed, motors installed back. Everything's nice and good. No reason for those things to break. They're not binding or anything like that, the brackets, so who knows, but we'll see what happens. I got someone turning the breaker on the roof right now because this is controlled from the condensing unit on the roof. So let's see, it should be cold or warm enough in here that I believe it should start without the fan delay, but I know the fan delay is working because I saw it when I was here Saturday night. Saw the fan delay working, so we will see. Let's give it a second. Kind of sounds like it's in defrost. I better call and make sure. I think it might be in defrost because it's 8 a.m. Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. It goes into defrost at 8 a.m. and we've had it off for a while, so now the time's pretty right. So let's go downstairs and see what those fans are doing. All right, we are all good. Blades in, vibrations calmed down significantly. We had to do a little adjusting. Ended up changing the fan motor on this side because the bearings were shot in it, probably because of the bad fan blade just absorbing it for so long. So we changed that. The vibrations went away significantly and all is well. So we are finished up. We're gonna tell the customer to keep an eye on it. Never found a reason for it to ice up, so more than likely they left the door open. But you know, we noticed all these other issues, so we're good to go now. Iced up walk-in freezer. So always go through everything. Even if you think it's just someone or you see someone leaving a door open, still check your defrost heaters, check the defrost clock, make sure everything is working properly. Give the customer the best bang for their buck. They're paying you a lot of money to be there.
So give them quality service, right? As I go through this equipment, I defrost it. I'm being very careful not to get water on the floor. If you have a raised floor, it can get underneath the floor, buckle it, ruin the entire floor, cost thousands of dollars to replace. If it's a tile floor like this one was, that water gets down on the tile and it freezes, becomes a big ice skating rink in there. So it's that kind of stuff. Think about the customer, think about yourself. Don't make a mess. Leave it nicer than when you got there, that kind of stuff, right? So I'm going to go through there and, you know, go through the whole process, watch the defrost clock go into defrost, make sure it's tracking correctly, the clock's keeping time, making sure the doors are closing by themselves. That's a really important thing. The hinges are spring closing, and it has a spring closing door closure, hydraulic door closure. So that door should be shutting easily by itself when you push it shut, and it was, okay? So I made sure to check everything that could potentially cause this thing to ice up as best as possible, the temperature controller too. And once I couldn't find anything else wrong, I told the customer it's probably because someone left the door open. Now, the kitchen manager, when I got there, initially said, no, they didn't leave the door open. I saw them. They had the light switch turned off because there's a power switch in there. They had it shut off. They had the door propped open, and then they turned it on when they were done. But when I got done defrosting it, I was talking to another manager, the one that's really in charge of the restaurant, and that manager was like, no, they totally left that door open. I walked by, the fans were running, the door was open. So who knows? Kitchen manager says one thing, regular main manager says another. All I know is I didn't find anything else wrong with that other than the things you saw. While I was in there, I noticed we had a couple of bad fan brackets, bent fan blade, and then I ended up changing a motor too because the bearings were like making a weird noise and they were really like tight. It was stopping really fast when it was free spinning. Like the motor was just going bad. So I changed that, changed the brackets, adjusted one of the fan blades, replaced one of the fan blades, and everything's good with that equipment. We also got a couple other technicians there with me. We took care of all the walk-in drains, cleared them all, made sure that that wasn't a problem because I noticed it was going kind of slow. Always take the time, communicate with the customer, you know, give them value for what you're doing. While I'm there, I brought to their attention, hey, I found these other issues, but we're not going to do this on overtime. You guys can make it through the weekend. We're not going to waste any of your money or any of my time. I will order the parts. We'll come back next week. And the customer was super thankful that I thought about that, right? And, you know, selfishly, I didn't want to have to go back to the shop, get all those parts, open up a supply house, get the other parts, and come back. But at the same time, I would have done it if it had to be done, but it wasn't a dire situation. And plus, it gave me a chance to follow up on the equipment. 2 days later, check to make sure it wasn't iced up again. No other issues besides clearing the drain, fan brackets, and the things we talked about. So always communicate with the customer, show them the value of what you're doing, you know, think about their budget and what they have to spend. It makes you that much more valuable to that customer. At least that's my humble opinion on it. I really appreciate you making it to the end of the video. Thank you so very much. If you haven't already, please consider checking out my website, hvacrvideos.com. We have merchandise available there. Great way to help support the channel. If you're interested in supporting the channel, though, you know the easiest way to support this channel is literally watch the videos from beginning to end, and it doesn't cost you anything except for a little bit of your time. That's it. That's the easiest way. But there's other ways. You can support it via PayPal, Patreon, YouTube channel memberships, obviously my website. There's links to all those things I mentioned in the show notes of the video. You can also go to TrueTechTools.com. You see any of the tools that I used in this video, the SC480 meter, I don't think I really showed you guys anything else, but a good majority of my tools actually come from TrueTechTools.com. So if you go to TrueTechTools.com and use my offer code at checkout, big picture, one word, it's an affiliate code. So I get a small commission, you get a little discount, great way to help support the channel. Again, TrueTechTools.com, the offer code is big picture, one word. At checkout, there's a little spot for discount or offer code. You put it in right there and boom, you'll get your discount, and then I get a small commission. So, you know, that's just a great way. There's, you know, a lot of time and stuff that goes into these videos, so I really do appreciate it when you guys leave me feedback. That really helps me to feel like I'm communicating with you guys and connecting with you. So when you guys watch these videos, do me a favor, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. It's really cool for me to be able to interact with you and read those comments. Otherwise, all the time that I spend on these just seems like I'm just looking at a camera. I'm looking at a screen, you know? So it's really cool to communicate with you guys. If you want to get a hold of me, you can certainly leave me comments down in the YouTube comments. You can shoot me an email, hvacrvideos@gmail.com, okay? I thank you so very much, and we will catch you on the next one.